Okay, yeah. Let's quickly put that on recording. I won't record it now, Mr. Larry. I think it's automatic. Okay. Okay, yeah. All right. So if you look at what we've got on the screen, mastering oral English by phonetic environments. In the last section, we focused on oral English. Of course, we talked about summary, we talked about letter writing, we talked about essay, we talked about comprehension, grammatical names and functions. We talked about word replacement. I mean, these are all the important stuffs. Okay, and we've also taken our time. I remember in one of our sections, we refer to that section as 9 in 1 section. In that section, we focus on 9 essential topics. So we can always still go back to other ones, but I feel this part um, is a dreaded area for a lot of students. And okay, the another thing is, I think our colleagues too, when teaching it, some of them are extremely, they're extremely being phonetical. And when you're extremely being phonetical, the students may actually have some trouble, especially when we consider our environment, how we grew up, and all of those things. You know, most of us grew up in an environment where naturally, when we even get people who speak the English language, you know, with accents, or you get people who pronounce words as expected, maybe British pronunciation among others, you know, we're not comfortable with that. What comes to our mind is, I mean, maybe he's trying to express a kind of superiority. Another thing that comes to our mind is maybe they're just trying to impress us and all of those things. So we are from an environment. Then another thing is um, the very adaptation of the language. When we receive the language, okay, a lot of people who actually receive the language didn't receive the proper one, didn't receive the proper pronunciation. We received good grammar or proper grammar, but we didn't receive proper pronunciation, and that is why pronunciation is a little bit difficult. For example, hardly would you find people. If I look at these common words, words as story, you know, we receive that word as story. I mean, our community, our culture exposed us to the pronunciation of that word as story. I grew up learning about story, but then that word is actually story. Okay, so it's one of the reasons why we find test of oral difficult, because while we receive the language, we didn't receive the pronunciation part of it, or we received the pronunciation part of it wrongly. All right, so you can think about that. I just used the most fundamental, or one of the most fundamental examples, story. And I'm sure if I ask you guys, you can relate to that. Most of you also grew up in a culture where story is pronounced as story, but that's his story. That's just where to start from. Okay, so it's understandable when you now get into the exam, or maybe in the course of teaching, a teacher tells you that word is story. Then you begin to wonder, or your friend tells you that word is story. You're bamboozled. Well, what do you mean? It's not story and that kind of argument. Okay. I think I also want to mention one more word, and that is SAYS. SAYS. I remember very strongly my encounter with, I mean, one of my friends, SAYS. SAYS. You know, for actually, guys, you're going to say, okay, that is says, you know, just SAY is say, SAYS is says. Expectedly, that's what it should be. You grew up in a culture where that thing is pronounced says. How many of us grew up in a part where we're first exposed to that word as says? We're not exposed to that word as says. We grew up learning that, when we grew up with the wrong pronunciation, that word is says, or with the right word is says. Okay, so with those two examples, I'm sure you will now understand. Oh, I see why we're having trouble with test of oral, because we didn't actually, you know, receive the right one from the beginning. As a child, as we're growing up in primary school, and even almost in secondary school, we didn't really pick up the right one. We didn't pick up the right one. And that's why, so the time will have to come where we need to begin to check all of those things we have planned. And that's it. All right. So, and I said, well, I'm not going to be technical about it. I will teach this using what we call phonetic environments. Phonetic environment means letters. There are 26 letters in English. In test of oral, a letter or so will be underlined. It's something you have observed. A letter will be underlined and sometimes two letters. That is it. So I want to teach you test of oral using the letters, not using the sound per se. For example, SAID. AI is what is underlined. Okay, and we know that word is said. At least we pronounce that one correctly. You see, you only have business with the underlying letters. You must understand that. You only have business with the underlined letters, in case there are two. And in most cases, there are two. You only have business with the underlying letters. So I don't have business with the S or with the D. It's the AI. And when I pronounce it, said, the AI gives me something like A. So what sound did they produce? That's the letters underlined in the given word. Said. Said. Then we realize that the AI sounds as A. The AI sounds like A. Said, A. Okay. So when you pronounce each of the words, only option G, many, has an S sound. Let's go back. Okay. This the AI sounds like A. So I'm looking for the option that will sound like A. This is A is flee. There's no air, like air, the air we're breathing. Die, no air. You, no air. Leak, no air. Made, no air. Paid, no air. Except many. It's only in me, It's only in many I go to see that air again. Eh, many. Eh, many. And that's the way it works. So since I've been told that just pay attention to the underlying letters. I'll study the underlying letters. What sound does it what sound does it produce? Then I'll sound out all the options, pick the one that has the same sound or a similar sound. All right, please you can use the what do you call it? You can use the chat box, the emoji. Let's know whether you understood this part before we move on. All right, so can you please use the emoji? Let's be sure you got that we're focusing on underlying letters and then the sound like, oh, that's fine. Just underline letters. Very simple. So now let's go on. You're going to find out that it's not as difficult as you have always thought. Now let's see the next line, the next page. Take, for example, we have this one, dance, dance. And in dance, only letter A is underlined. So what does it mean? The underlying letter, which is A, sounds like ah. Only option A has a similar sound. Ant. Friend doesn't sound like ah. Maze. Danger. You see, look at the DAN in dance, the DAN in danger. But one is the underlying letter sounds like ah, as if something bad happened. Ah. But if you look at D, danger, danger, it's not ah. So the answer is ant. Very simple. Just focus on the underlying letter. How does it sound? Go through all the options and look for the one that sounds like the underlying letter. Number 3, core. The underlying letters are OR, core. Then we have 4 options: pole, court, loud, saw. The underlying letters OR sound like O, your normal O. Or if you check, only options B, court, and D, saw have a similar sound. So definitely, when you are working on test of oral, I'm focusing on number 1 to 15, the vowel sound area. There is no way all the 4 options will sound alike. In fact, only two might seem compatible. If you look at this one, core, the OR sounds as or, like or. A is pole, lie, out. Court, okay, understandable, it looks like or. Loud, lie, out. So, and that's why we said the underlying letters or sound like or the underlying letters or sound like or. If you check, only options B and D, B is caught and D saw, have a similar sound. Call. So the answer is either caught or saw. And then, very interesting. I told you, you're just going to master letters. That's all. There are two types of or. So it's, you know, this should help to heal your bewilderment in case you are amazed that, okay, is it not possible to have two options? No, there are two types of or. Oh, I see. We have the short or and the long or. You see, I'm not transcribing. I'm not using phonetic symbols because I just want to teach using phonetic environment, just using letters. I can get people to understand. I can get people to understand test of oral just through letters. I don't want to start going to technicalities because the most important thing is you can always learn about the technicality letters, but what matters is while you are in the exam hall, are you able to survive it? Are you able to eliminate professionally? Okay. Now, don't forget we said or, or. We said we have the short or and the long or. How am I supposed to know? I'm teaching letter combinations. You just need to master some letters. And that is where your effort is required. The truth is this, anything that does not require effort will never succeed. In fact, if there is anything that you do that does not involve effort, that thing is useless. Take for example, and that's why, watching the television is not in most cases profitable. It doesn't require effort. You can watch the television and have an exam. It's not going to help. But when you put your like you go through the past question paper, that requires effort. Even to read your Bible, it requires effort. You have to put it on the table, you have to read, you have to go back, think about it, analyze, and all of those things. It requires effort. So there is no how we can bypass efforts. There will always be part of this training where your personal effort will be required. We cannot bypass effort. So at this point, I cannot bypass your effort. I will need your effort to master the letter combinations. For example, for the long O, you have letters such as A and R. That means if I have A and R in a word and the word sounds as O, that O is going to be a long one. An example is war. Okay? War. And not only war, you can think about any word where you have AL. Okay, so or it's AR. Another example is AL, ball. AL will make it a long sound. OR, call. AW, long. OUR, long. So you have an idea of the long, and now you have an idea. Or for the short, letter O. Look at the combination. Strictly speaking, AR, AL, OR, AW, OUR. To the exclusion of these ones, if you look at court, court is OT. Okay, you just need to master the long ones and assume every other one must be short. You just need to master AR, AL, OR, AW, OUR. I've mastered this for the past 20 years. Though I remember them a lot because I teach them. AR, AL, OR, AW, OUR. They would always give you a long sound. Do you know the implication? The implication is if I'm in the exam hall and I have this word, war, AR is underlined. There is no way COT can be the answer for it because the COT is a short O. So I need another one that will be long, maybe something like this ball, AL, or something like core, OR, or something like saw, AW, or something like for, OUR. That is what to master. Then if you go back to the previous question, so let's go. I'm going to check your understanding now. If you go back to the previous question with my explanation, you can now see that the answer is D, saw. And that because OR is a long O, AW is a long O, AL is a long O, AR is a long O. But Any other one is going to be short. And that's why your OT is short. You just need to master the long ones and consider every other one short. So you don't really have much to memorize. You just want to memorize maybe five letter combinations, and every other one should be treated as short. And that's it. Now, the next one I'm teaching, thank God this is being recorded. I'm going to drop this on the group WhatsApp too. You can go back, see the letter combinations. Number 4, Nook. Nook. You see? Nook. The underlying letters OO sound like oo, Nook, like oo. Okay. If you check, option B, poor, is totally incompatible. So we delete that one. We now have no, good, food. Then the question is, are the three of them are going to be the answer? Anytime you experience something like this, it means there are two types of that thing. That means there are two types of oo. There are two types of oo. So we have the short oo, and then we have the long oo. How am I supposed to know the long and the short oo? Just letter combinations. For example, OOL, for example, pool, cool, COOL. OOL will give you long, OOM will give you long, UI will give you long, fruit, suit. EW will give you long, few, crew. UE will give you long, queue. Every other one then will give you short. In fact, the modal auxiliary verb like could, should, would, they will give you short. ULL will give you short. OOK will give you short. OOG will give you short. Food is just an exception. Okay. These are the things you need to master. So every time you say, oh, it's just difficult. No, 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 no. It's just maybe you have not learned the difference between the short sound and the long sound. And I provided them in terms of letter combination. All right. But like I've said, effort is required. Your effort. It's just like I like Barack Obama, especially in one of his speeches. He was talking to students and he told them, everybody has a role to play. He said, as government, even when we put on the best school, best paint, best construction, best, latest gadget device, okay, we train teachers, we give them first class training, okay, and teachers also prepare to class, improve themselves, take on courses, okay, and parents also ensure that they pay in school fees. All of these things that they have done, he said, we will still not have result if students are not concentrated, if students are not dedicated. Good computer will not help any student. It's the student that will have to use a computer. So what are we saying in essence? All of these things, they will make no difference. So it doesn't really matter whether, the man simplified it. If you don't put in your effort, you won't get any results. Okay, and I better declare now. Okay, let's just declare it. You read your efforts, your personal efforts to get what you want. It will take your effort. It's you would have got to sit down and say, oh yeah, short all day, long all day. What will be the letter combination? It's you have got to sit down. I cannot sit down on your behalf. You need to sit down, get your paper, get your pencil. You see, right here on my table. See, I have my dictionary right here on my table. Okay, I have it. You cannot learn any word on my behalf. Okay, if there's any word I need to learn, I pick it from this place. You cannot learn any word on my behalf. No teacher can do that for me. And the same thing happens. I cannot learn word for you. You have to learn it. So we're just being lazy. Okay, I'm not saying you particularly. Generally, humans, we're just being lazy. We don't want effort. Like effort go day. Effort go day. If you won't put effort, nothing will happen. So please, I'm telling you, they might look alike. Now you go sit down and say, okay, ULL now short you go give me. Oh, okay, oh, okay, now short. Now you go do those ones. I put it at, I mean, it's available. I put it on the screen. So we can learn it for you. When you learn it, then you go apply it. Now, that's just on the lighter note. Let's go on. Then we have this one. So if you go back to that question, if you go back to that question, and you see, you have Nook, and you know Poi is out. You have learned that OOK is short. So Nook is short. You have learned that food is long. Then OON is also long. So you can have, ON is also long. OOD, at least you just go master the letter combination. I think they should help you to a large extent. The next one, number 5, believe. Believe. What is the underline? I-E. The underlying letters sound like E. If you check, options A and D are not compatible. Option A say lie, and I ain't be like IEO, I ain't be like that thing. But na lie in sound, lie. But believe na E. E and lie, how they take, I mean, you listen to these guys that rap now. So this is also like you are rapping. Those guys, when they rap, they ensure that, they ensure they're reading, back to back, something like, I'm not too familiar with it. They ensure that, okay, at least you understand what I mean by that, okay? So when you have this believe, E, the underlying letters are E. Lie no be like E, okay? Eight no be like E. So T be like E. Kick be like E. Q-U-A is key, please. The same way you pronounce K-E-Y. And that's not surprising. There's something we call homophones. Words that have the same sound. Key. Now the same sound. Now key be there too. Key. Okay. So the underlying letters sound like E. If you check options A and D, and those ones they don't sound like E. Now we're now looking at possible answers are kick and key. Why can't people true answer for question? Now you say there must be two types of that thing. So there are two types of E. So we have the short E and then the long E. Then the question is, what are the letter combination for the long and sound? Simple. So you have the short E and then the long E. Letter combination for long E. E, B, it will give you a long E. EI, receive, long E. IE, believe, long E. EA, C, long E. UAY, key, long E. EY, key, long E. Every other one will be short. Every other one, like LY, CY, NY, IC, every other one will be short. If you look at this one, I say I plus other letters will be short. Theme, which means, say, for example, if they write B, circle EE, theme no fit be the answer because theme na short E. So what if it be the answer fit be C? So it go be long. Now long will be the answer to long one. Short will be the answer to short one. Short no will be the answer to long one. Okay, so if you go back to the question now, IE, this one are long. So short no will be answer to long. Okay, so key, that UAY now be the answer, now in long. I plus any other letter na small, na short it will give you. And IE, na long sound. Short sound no will be answer to long sound. It is short and short and long and long. Short and short and long and long. Short can be the answer to long, and long can be the answer to short. So it is short and short, and then long and long. Okay, so let's see number 6. Okay, let's even go back. Before we get back to this number 6, I may need you to take some, because you have classwork. I may need you to take notes, jot down those letter combinations so that it can help you. By the time we want to, because you have 15 questions here to deal with. Like this number 1 now. Woman. Who, it sound like who. There are two types of who. If the whole sound like who, I be woman. This one are red. Red and who, they no be the same thing. Who and read no be the same thing. Who and beat no be the same thing. Who and cool. So this is simple. The answer are D. Very easy. So anytime, it seems like there are two answers. It means there is a short one and a long one. You now need your understanding of the letter combination to say, okay, is it short or long or short? It will be long. Long will be the answer to long. Short will be the answer to short, and not the other way around. Is it still clear up to this point? Please use your icons, your emoji, all of those things. Let me show. Is it still clear up to this point? This is still clear. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh. Let's get a confirmatory feedback. Nobody is chatting though. About me since morning. It's can happen. But at least you gave us a thumb up. At least I understood that. What about the other people? Let's know whether you're following though. It's a two-way thing though. Since at first I can't just give you just send emoji. What's happened since? Hey, all these people. So I know tell us whether they follow the class. It's very important too. All right, let's go on. So what I want you to do now is, for example, look at this number 6. Girl, IR is underlined. The underlined letters IR sound like a, ge, e, ge, e. Only two options are compatible. Check. Percent. That will not be percent. I don't tell you. Now, because we didn't grow up in an environment that, that adapted the right one. Percent. Percent. Pe, pe, percent. Like pe, pe, percent. Arts and rough. So C and D, they will be like a. Okay. The underlying letters IL sound like a. Only two options are compatible. Check. Percent. There are two types of air, short and long. So if you master them, you realize that even when you have to, you can still find your answer. Short air, long air. Long air when you have this combination IR, ER, OR, UR, OUR. You may be wondering, first you go take master all this thing. I'm sure you're aware that was it last year, somebody had 9 A's. And you go say you like English, you don't like maths. You like maths, you like English. Somebody had 9 A's, A for maths, A for English. Baba, we're not doing our best too. Unfortunately, most of us are not doing our best. We just feel like I don't pick myself. You don't pick yourself, and you won't go school. Do you know how many people take? Do you know how many people sit jam? Well, you take quiet, you take UTME. Do you know the number of people who sit jam? How many people eventually pass? How many people are offered admission? If you understand your chances are limited, maybe you wake up and just understand and say, oh boy, the chances are very limited. It's just like 10 people sit jam. School, all the universities, private, government, they no fit take more than 4 people. You know what that means? It means 6 people go the right jam. Nothing will fit do. Okay, like 1 million people start UTME. Nigerian universities can absorb 1 million. They know if you give 1 million people admission, possible. They don't get that capacity. So that's the way you should look at it. That it looks like these people said only few people that if you take sure you don't see. And out of the few people, some people go still go pay money. Some people go do man no man. I don't know whether you go do man no man, whether you know VC. You know go do man no man. And you know get person you go bribe. Oh boy, I want you won't do. The best you can do now is to prove yourself to them. And then when you have one of the best scores, they give you the admission. That's how you can find a way there. All right. So you must understand that the chances are very limited. They know they play, nobody get anybody time. It's just like you graduate from school, you say they look for job. And how many people they look for job? How many job there? How many people graduate? So that tells you, oh boy, if you know, say you won't pick job, you go do very, very serious. You go know, say you gotta be very, very serious for school because job no day. So why am I saying all of these things? Just to get you, um, just to get you to hit your comfort zone because the chances are very limited. So don't think you have this unlimited, no, very, very limited. Only few people. All right. So if you look at number six, we talk about air, short air, long air, the letter combinations are there. I leave all of these things to your efforts. With your efforts, you'll be able to master the letter combinations with your efforts. It takes efforts. And these ones are the easiest of them. We call them diphthongs. Though four are easier, four are a little bit tough. But let's look at the, for example, uh, cow. Okay, okay. I think I'll find it another way around that. I don't want to use sound. I want to just focus on letters. Okay, look at this one now. WHITE. You know, the same more focus on the underlying letter. White. If you focus on that I, it will sound like I. And then you go pronounce all the other options. Which one get I? It is sound on a buy, buy, buy. And that's the answer. Number two, doubt. Oh, you now, ow, ow. Pronounce all of them. Which one they sound like ow? The answer is C, round. The other one, so. Oh, you know, oh, oh, oh. Pronounce all of them. Which one they sound like oh? C, boat. Toy, toy. Oh, the owner, oi. Okay, so which one they sound like oi? The answer is A, koi. This thing, that's the way it works. You just pronounce it in letters. You focus on the underlying letters, whatever sound you have. Then you pronounce all the options. If it happens that two of them are very close, then one must be short, one must be long. Go apply your letter combination, and then you survive it. Then the last one, pad. If you look at this part now, and you sound all the options, add, rather. But if you look at C, the underlying letter sounds as ah. Only the options, only three options are compatible. Only three they sound like ah. Add, rather, cat. There are two types of R. So if it don't happen like that, why I go do mistake? It means there are two types of R, short R and long R. Don't just think about what are the long R. AR will give you long, ATH, EAR, AL, AS, and that tells you AR long, that means add day long, rather day long. Okay? 18 no day among the long, so it must be short. A plus other letters are short. Okay? And when you go back to the question, then you know the answer is actually what? E, cats. Because AR na long R, add. ATH na long, rather. And pale no sound like pad. Water no sound like R. So the answer is cat. That's the way it works, friends. That's the way it works. So what are we going to do now? I'm going to get this on the screen for you. Okay. All right. So can you try attempt this? At least if you have some trouble with this, it might be based on the letter combinations since you have not mastered them, but you already have them spelled out. But let me go send this material to the group. So that means you can open it as you're working in case you want to find out, okay, this one is not like O, but there are two types of O. What are the letter combinations? Let I go check the material. So I'm going to send the material now. It's going to guide you. All right. So I leave everybody. Let's do 1 to 13. You can type your answers up. We can take them and we just do. I understand the class is longer. 90 minutes is just 1 hour. Okay. How about you guys? I'll go send that copy. Mm, 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 mm.
Without rats.
First off, please you can mute. First off, please mute, please. All right. In case you are bothered or you're looking at, okay, I'm considering two options because they have a similar sound. Maybe one sounds like or another one also sounds like or. I don't know which one is long, which one is short. Go. I've sent the material to the group WhatsApp. Click on it. Check where you have the or. It will give you the letter combination that produce or, and the other ones then must be short or, and that would also help you. You should just be surprised. Say, I saw this thing they easy like this. Yeah, not too tough. All right, so we'll leave you. Okay, melody. Okay, 1 to 10. Yeah, you see, I have 11, 12, 13. It seems you found it easier now. I mean, that was fast. So fast. Uh, first, what's happening? You only did two. One did two, see? Is that all? Number two, D, okay. Oh. About me, you have not submitted any. You are laughing.
I don't know anyone.
Ah, this thing is easy now. Okay, let's do the correction so we can save some time. Okay, let's do the corrections. I think I'll be able to highlight here. Um, Number two, you may find this one a little bit tough. I have not taught this one. The air you have in this one is a little bit different. Okay, so we're gonna asterisk it. No, let me asterisk it so you don't think I've answered it. Let's asterisk number two. But number three, the E here is That's the E in this place sounds like The air would breathe it. That's for number three. Oh. That E. Okay, sounds like the air would breathe it. We don't even to go over. This is A now. This one is, we said EAR is going to be long. And this one is forte. Forte. You don't get A. Meaty. You don't get A. LD. The LD way did this one a long one. EAR not long. You just need to master that. So very easy. So this one now, the answer now. Okay. So this one now, while I we did this one now, the way you take pronounce them, you call them, maybe you call them penal, like penalty, penal. You see? But this one, the E, they sound like E. The E, the letter E, they sound like E, penal, P, penal. Now because we don't start now because what the it's very unfortunate. And that's why people will send their children to very solid, very standard school at a very early time. Their children grew up, their children will learn these stuffs as as a reception language because the teachers, it doesn't matter what you teach, whether you teach maths, teacher will take phonetics, they teach maths. So the children will grow up learning the right pronunciation of words. So by the time they see something like this, they don't even know whether people they even call it penal. In fact, they'll be surprised to hear people pronounce that penal because they would have grown up learning that thing is pronounced as penal. Now, penal then you take grow up. Let them, I mean, why you grow up, learn them as penal, then you grow up, learn them as penal. So now the wall be that. So this is penal, like E. If you check now, penalty very far. Li. Receipts, say get E, pleasant. So the answer now reality or receipt. But the E whether it is penal a small one. Reality, the E that I whether here said a small one. EI they get long. So the answer is this one. Then the other one, the next one, passage. Pa. The A sound like A. Yeah. Okay. The A sounds like A. The A sounds as A. Okay. So this number five now. The A sound like as if something bad happened. Somebody can say passage. This one now, you see the A with the year now, and the A with the year. Now because we know the A with the two, they sound as E, no be A. I don't say you don't tire for this thing now. You don't tire. Say which kind of be this? But if you have the right perspective, you will just appreciate the fact that more than WAHEC, what this thing does is it just helps you to be aware of some of the wrong pronunciation we grew up with. Honestly, more than WAHEC, more than the fact that you are going to be assessed on it. What this thing will eventually do for you is that it will not help you to see that maybe 50 to 60% of the words you grew up with, you didn't learn the right pronunciation of them, and not your fault. Where you lived, the teachers, the people around you, the relatives, the friends, all the people around you while you were growing up, even up to this moment, they also learned the wrong one. So, and that is it. It's not your fault, and it's not their fault. It's not their fault that they didn't pronounce it as penal. They said learn them as penal. So then teach them as penal. Not be their fault. Now wait till they learn they teach. So everybody grew, most of these people grew up with the wrong one. So you just need to see that as okay, well, it's an opportunity to know that, oh, okay, don't say that they call this one, and like this and they call them. And that's it. So that's the right perspective and not something of frustration where you feel, ah, oh, why did they ask all this kind of question? This thing life thing in this now. This is a life skill. So by tomorrow or anytime when you see that word, if you like, if you call them penal, you just wish to call them penal, you know so that's in a penal. So that's the way it works. And if you look at the AE message, even though me say I see the color message, so me say I know the help matter. I know so that's in a message. Now that A, what did that message? They sound like E message. The A what did that package say? They sound like package. When somebody tells you, I've got a package for you, you can say, what did they do this one? You see now the one like that. That is packaged. Let me package. Package. And okay, so all those two, they don't be like they don't be like more to partner. So the answer now partner. Because now that D they sound like every other one they sound differently. Then you have cause. Then you have cause. Cause. You see, this one now, you know go believe I'm this COAX. It's pronounced like your Coke what you they drink. So this is Cokes. Some people call it coas. Okay, yeah, people for this country. You say coas. That's not be coas. Okay. But just like I've told you, you don't be blame anybody. Now what they learn. Now we can teach them, they self teach. Okay. And then the environment didn't teach us the right one. So that thing is O Cokes and not coas. And then so you see, you don't even be like this one, cause. Sure. And you don't see the oh yeah, sure. Road, rod. So be like B or D, sure, or rod. But we have taught you about the long and the short of. OR is a long one. And this is OAR is also a long one. So the answer is sure. This one now. Uh-huh. Stipend. Okay. We can even find out. Sure, I did it like this. I thought I don't sleep. Are you guys still there? Okay. As another talk, when I say this oral English, you all are too much of it. But wait, is it difficult? Now on mute. Don't do sign again, don't do much. Use your mouth now. Is it very difficult? And let me know which part now. Because I feel with letter combination and you take your time to master how the letters work. You don't go too difficult like that. Maybe by force, maybe you get 15 over 15 for the about the vowel sound test. If you don't attend, you don't try now. Yes now. What makes an A? What makes an A is not 100 now. It's not even 90 over 100. It's not even 80 over 100. What makes an A in English is just 70. If that's to say you get A, now like 70 plus, we don't know what you can get. But it's from 70. Whether you can't get 80 or you get 90. So you don't have to even have 100 to have A. So which means if you study hard, you can have an A, but that does not mean you have had 100 over 100. Like this test of oral that you have 60 questions. Let's say, for example, if it is independently graded, okay, somebody say you get A, out of the 60 questions. I'm just giving an example. Let's say, okay, you get A out of the 60, it starts 60 questions, you got an A. You don't mean say you get 60, 60. If you say you just get 50, you even miss like 10, and that's still an A, sincerely. So the bar is not even very much, it's not even that raised as much. The bar is not very raised as much. It's not like in the university. When we talk about first class is just 4.5. So, and it's not even, so you don't have to have five. Then they call them my number that they use for university. You don't even have 5.0 to have a first class. 4.5 now first class, 4.6. You will get 4.5, first will get 4.6, 4.7, 4.8, 4.9, 5, all of them are first class. So that's the way it works. All right. If you do your best, you don't even need to score 100 over 100 in the English. I'm not saying if you can, it's not possible. I'm saying, I mean, that's another way to look at it. That why not go if you can't get B? And B looks like 60. How you go do? I know if you get like 60. You see, sometimes when you look at all these things being marked, you just know students are not being serious. It's even a slap in your face that you cannot have a B in all your courses. Something like 60 out of 100. It's a slap in your face. After many years for secondary school, you don't get B. It's a slap. You don't know, no, you don't make any, you don't make small sense. Okay, we'll just spend 3 more minutes so that everybody will go. Okay, stipend. And now, if you pronounce this thing as stipend, you go to say the answer as still, but this is stipend. And that's how it can be guys. So now the way we will be, no be our fault, you know, I've said so. But no go feel, no go verse for the other English. Just understand, say, now the way we will take grow up. So we just need to learn some things later. I know wala. And so that I know now the way we will take grow up. So this one now, they a little bit difficult said. Because this one I will grow up, they call this one do, dumb, dumb, dumb. They call it like that, and because they call this thing ho or urban, you go to say the answer now C. I beg, no be say I choose C. The answer not be C. The answer is actually D. So they look say, the answer go be D. This one dump now. This one a month. Eh, now we they call her months. This thing are mounts. This thing are damp. She's a damp girl. Mount. So this now the two of them they get the same R sound. Damn, mount. This one now, what would they call? You see, now because of our background, now, and I'd say background, all of us get to. Now later we learn this thing. This thing now, all of us will learn this thing as wolf. Now wolf means self learner. So no bad for no verse at all for yourself. Just to say I don't even there. So if you even learn how to, if you take all of this pronunciation from me, another thing you should do is you can even, look at your past question paper, all of those words, put them on your YouTube and listen to the pronunciation. Then you can even learn, not be all really different pronunciation. You take stock of those words you would have pronounced wrongly. Not be your fault. And just learn the right one. Not to impress anybody, but just know say now the right one be this. If you look at this one, number 9, we'll go with the column. Now wolf, me say if I grow up, they learn that thing. So that's now wolf. But that stuff is pronounced as woof. Who? Woof. Who? So that thing is now woof. So it's now golf, no correct. But if I pronounce it as wolf, I go to say the answer now scold. If I call it wolf, I go to say the answer now scold. People go to say this why what they do now say they know how they pronounce that. They call they put what you go match am. What you go to say you get time. They don't say what they call that thing wolf. They can't put code, so it will resemble what's the this thing is a wolf code. Of which that thing is wolf, and the answer is wood. Wolf, wood. Now let's see happen with that. I shouldn't keep you guys much. Okay. Let me just quickly complete it so that you guys can go. Manure. That A sounds as a, but a small a. Party said sound like a, but party is a long one. Search no a. Again no a. Bad. The answer is bad. 11. O's. That one go dey easy. O because no long O, no short O. O go dey easy. Host. Now. Um. Us. Thought. No. 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 Known. So the answer is D. Then the next one. Stick. Eek. E. 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 So the answer is B. Mead. Mead. Eid. Brute. U. 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 Brute. Can you say that? So the answer would be stood. Brute is long, stood is also long. Then the last number 14, south. That one go dey easy. South. Drought. The answer is A. Drought. So if you go call am drought now, you go think say the answer no dey. 15. Ploy. Ploy. The answer na noise. So you see say na God win now. God then tell us, my people perish for lack of knowledge. So instead, we go. So the opposite is also true. The opposite is now, my people succeed for the presence of knowledge. God don't tell us now we are wala too much for church. These are the good church, not are the good church. He said, my people perish. Why? They don't get knowledge. The opposite that we say, my people succeed because they get knowledge. That's how you go people they succeed. They get knowledge, then they succeed. They know they go to church. But that God say, if people perish, they don't get knowledge. I mean, the opposite going to say, if people succeed because they get knowledge. So if you have the right knowledge, you will succeed at anything. And that's why, think about the former vice president. He wasn't born again when he became a professor, Professor Yemi Osinbajo. He wasn't born again when he wasn't born again. He wasn't born again. He was drinking still in the world when he became a professor. You see? So he didn't even know about the Holy Spirit. And he was a professor. Because God didn't say you can't become successful because you don't know. He said if you know what you did do, my people succeed because they know they have knowledge, and they fail because they don't have knowledge. If you understand this knowledge now, you go just succeed well for this thing. You say, now because you get the knowledge, you don't need to be pastor to king. And if you don't get the knowledge, you see, now God statement, now God mean. All right, so except you guys have got questions, we'll let you go now. God don't win. Abi, God don't win everybody. Oh yeah, question, no question. Then we'll say goodbye. See you guys on Saturday, I suppose. Yeah. All right. Bye.
Right.